Muted. I thought I hit the button. What's going on, everybody? John here with Motivation Theory. Oh, man. That's a way to start it off, to not hit the mute button on the microphone. Happy Friday. It is a happy hour hangout. You got the sound now. Hold on. It's coming. It's coming. But there's a little bit of delay, so you guys are just now seeing it. Running around. Just finished up work for the day. Came down to the basement, getting set up, getting tested. My wife's upstairs doing baby pictures in the other room. So, you guys hear me now? We good with sound? Exactly. It's a way to start it off. Well, that's how you'd expect to start off the stream if you've had a couple. It's happy hour, guys. This is not. Do I look like a professional? I'm a runner. What's going on? Who we got in here? So we got Ross Serve. What's going on? Thank you. Welcome to the stream. We got Thomas Top. Welcome. Frank. Lee Halfer. I'm going to butcher it. Lee Halfer? I know I just butchered that. So how many beers did you really have before you started broadcasting? Do you want the wife answer? 2. 1. Good. You might have to. The Howlier. I can't. I'm trying to say it correctly. I'm not trying to butcher it on purpose. So, oh man. So running has been. I expected to do a lot more mileage this week. I've had 2 days I have not run. It's just been super busy, and the wife. I got her on a walking to run plan, so we have to constantly trade back and forth with the baby. Some nights it's there, some nights it's not. And I was actually very tired. I did a couple. For those of you, La Julia. There we go. I think I got La Julia. Okay. Sorry, I tried. I did not enjoy the humidity today. I have not yet. What I did do is get up and mow the lawn, weed whack, and do all the stuff I've not been doing. Blowing off the patio, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to be running here soon. I'm going to be running later tonight, so I'm probably going to try to do 10 tonight, and hopefully maybe 7-ish tomorrow, and then maybe 10 Sunday. That's probably what my week is going to wrap up to be. I was hoping to hit 70 miles this week. I was going to try for it. Maybe I'll try next week. It's not going to happen this week. Missed too many days. 2 days is too many. I don't want to have too many long runs this week. I have not run outside, and it's probably been a couple weeks. If you notice, I mean, for those of you who follow me in Strava, I'm burning up now. Been running around. I have been running on the treadmill a lot because I've been trying to get my foot to heal. And typically, I probably would have just taken off, but because the treadmill is a lot easier on my feet, I'm just kind of doing that, putting miles on that. It's not easier, but it's easier on the feet. That's not taking much as a pounding on my foot, but it's getting better. I think my foot's probably about mid-80s right now, so it's not too bad. I still have to watch it. Like if I start to get cute and turn up the pace, which if you've watched Strava, I've been trying to turn it up a little bit. It'll start to hurt a little bit. So I just have to watch that. Thomas said, that's awesome. Good for your wife. My wife is out walking with me as well as we're going every morning. Yeah, so my daughter, my 17-year-old Skylar, she's running now. I think I've mentioned that. She's running 3 miles a day and doing a lot of HIIT workouts and stuff like that. So she's lost like 25 pounds. And so she's doing awesome. And because of that, she got a pair of the Bondi, make sure I say it correctly, the Hoka 1-1. See, gonna make everybody mad with that. One, I know. So she got a pair of those, and the wife is now starting her plan. I got her on a plan and got her days lined up for her, so she's going to get back into it. You know, try to get herself back into running form. So everyone's getting there. We're all getting there. Kurt says, I don't know how you can handle so many treadmill miles mentally. It's a state of mind that I take when I get on the treadmill. I know what it's going to be, and so I don't try to. I just don't think about it. I don't know. I've run so much on the treadmill over the years. I don't really think about it being a huge issue. I don't love it. I mean, it's not something I look forward to. Like if I was going to go run 10 outside, it would be much, much easier. So it is tough. I mean, there'll be times when I know I'm going to run 10, and at 4, I'm like, you know what, maybe I'll do 4 tonight. Then I'll get to 6. I'm like, I got to 6. Maybe I'll go to 8. And then I'll go to 8. I'm like, that's only 2 more. And that's how I actually am getting through that. It's quite tough. But I don't know. I've run a lot on a treadmill, so I've just gotten it down. It's not my favorite, but I just put up with it. I do lots of stupid things for a long time. I need to get a new table. This thing shakes. I started watching some of the replays of this, and it started getting the shakes every time I touch the table this is on. So I'm going to get a different setup here soon. It's working for what I got. Thomas Top said 70. Yes, 70. I was going to shoot for 70 miles this week. Maybe I'll hit it next week or the week after. I'm going to hit 70 here soon. That's my goal. Thomas says, yeah, I wish I had a treadmill, and having some issues with my Achilles, and the trails, even the street, are not helping much. Yeah, I mean, you guys know how much I love the trails. It's killing me not to go on the trails, but I know that will just irritate my foot. I don't know exactly what was going on, if I have a hairline fracture. I don't know. I don't think so, but I'm not convinced that 100% that I don't. And I don't want to go out there and start dealing with a lot of the different trains and technical stuff like that. It'll just flare up, and I don't want to deal with this stuff. I want to get this done with. I want to spend a couple more weeks healing and then get back to it. And even the street is tough. So yeah, it's nice to have a treadmill. I used to have 2 down here, but it's nice having one. I have a nice little gym down here, which is now gym/studio. You guys look, got this all decorated up with all the shoes that came in. I got a couple. Mizuno sent me the Wave Horizon 4 and the Mizuno Wave Inspire 16 with the Wave Knit. I haven't opened them in that box back there. I've done. You guys know I'm a huge Mizuno fan, so they were very nice and sent me some shoes. So I'm going to be doing some review on. I did a first run on the Wave Horizon 4s, so excited about that. I love that shoe, by the way. I'm shocked I've never run in it before. I just kind of stick with what I know, and I like the Wave Inspire series. The Wave Horizon 4 is a pretty close second, if not first now, to me. I love that shoe after running it the first time. Well, I hope your Achilles feels good. Yeah, I hate when stuff starts to flare up because you still want to keep training. It's just like a little nagging thing that keeps you from doing what you want to do. Frank asks, does she have a goal? My wife does not have a goal. I think hers is more around weight loss, losing baby weight. She had lost a lot of weight before we had the baby, and she was doing really good. She was just killing it. She had lost a ton of weight, and she was feeling great. And then she had the baby and put on some weight. So now she just wants to, I think, just get down to whatever size that's in her mind. I don't ask, but I'm just here to support, help where I can from a running aspect and getting her safely there. Bought her some shoes, and bought her some nice cushioned shoes to help lower the impact on her knees and hips and back. I know she had a lot of back problems when she had the baby, so just looking out for her and the kids, kind of support them in their training efforts. Zombie treadmill run. That's right. Rosser said zombie treadmill run. Yeah, and that's why I have the zombie. Whenever anybody, oh, I'm pointing the wrong side. There we go. Whenever anybody subscribes or does a super chat, the zombie runs on the treadmill. So don't be shy. Don't be shy. That's what the glass is too. It's a tip jar. I'm playing with all kinds of stuff. Anytime anybody subscribes or does anything, it like something flies over and drops it in the beer mug. What's up, Mickey? Welcome to the stream. Mickey says hello, everyone. Hello. Mickey says just got the Topo Phantom. First run felt really good. That's awesome. It's really nice when you put on a shoe and it feels good at first. I have not put on a shoe that has felt horrible yet. I remember years ago I'd go to the local running shop and they do a good job, and they would do gait analysis and foot strike analysis and all that stuff, and they'd put you in a shoe. And one time I bought a shoe, came home, and it was a neutral shoe. And I think it was when I first started running, so I pronated a lot more, and it felt like I was running on marshmallows. I mean, it was horrible. I took it right back. But that's the only time I've ever done that. Every shoe that I have back here right now, I can get away with. Now, how long, how many distance, how many miles, I don't know. So I like the stability shoe. I don't think I need a stability shoe. I can run just fine in neutral, but I like the feel of a stability shoe. I like the Brooks. I haven't tried the Ghost. I like the Adrenaline series. Those are very supportive. They just feel good. And the obviously the Wave Inspire series. Thomas says, I used to do the treadmill at the gym, only up to 5K, but then also used to hop on the bike and the elliptical. I really miss having that. Yeah, back in the day when I had a gym membership, I used to ride a lot of the bike too. It's nice. I've actually thought about getting one of those Pelotons and getting them down in here. I want another treadmill that's got the screen. I want all that stuff. I want the fancy stuff now. But I'd like to get a bike just because some days, like if feet are beat up or knees are beat up, and it's just another way of getting some cardio in that's not running. It would be nice to be able to kind of mix it up. Kurt says, love that you were there to support her with whatever she wants to accomplish. What shoes did she choose? I got her the same. So if you guys miss a story, for Mother's Day, I ordered Sheena, my wife, the Bondi, the Hoka One Bondi 6s, because they were the most cushioned shoe, and I figured, it would be the easiest for her. She's dealt with plantar fasciitis in the past, and so I ordered the shoe. And for some reason, when I looked at the order, what caught my eye was B, the size B width. And so I know for men, that's super narrow. And I'm like, maybe I just missed it. So I ran over and looked at the shoe, and then I forgot. I mean, I used to work in a shoe store back in college. I saw that actually I got the wrong size. I got the size down. I was like, crap. So I called Running Warehouse, and they said it was already on the truck. So all they could do was call California, order from there, and overnight it. And it still didn't even get there in time. It was Thursday. It didn't even get there till Monday. But the size smaller got here, and my daughter, who's been running a lot, and I felt, maybe she deserved it, so I let her try them on. She loved them, so I kept both shoes. So they both got those. My wife said the first night she used them, that kind of tweaked her knee. It was kind of feeling like kind of a pain in her knee, but it didn't bother her the next night. So I'm going to be doing a review from both my ladies that are going to be doing a review with me on the Hoka Bondi 6s. So look forward to doing that. So it's not just me. I'd like to, one of the things I like to do with the channel is kind of diversify it a little bit and try to expand into reviewing women's shoes also. Not that I can. I mean, there's not a ton of difference between them, but it'd be nice to probably have a mom's point of view, a teenager's point of view on some of these shoes. So I'm going to start adding that in. So I'm looking forward to that. And that just happened by accident. So it just kind of spurred a thing in my mind, like, you know what, maybe I should have them talk about shoes also, not just me. Kurt said, take a sub on an old account that I don't use anymore, Kurt Klein. Thank you. Did it drop? Did it do the thing? I know it's delayed, so there's a delay. I missed it. Rosso says, I have the Bondi 5 and they have served me well. How many miles have you got on them? Because, I mean, I can look at those and see easily getting 500 miles out of those, which is awesome. I haven't run in a ton of Hokas, so I used to not be a big fan of the rocker. I just didn't like the design. I like the wedge instead, but I've become more of a fan now that I've started using the Speedgoat 4 on the trails. I really love that shoe. Kurt said, can I tell my wife I ordered the wrong shoe on accident so I can get 2 pairs too? So, shoe reviews and things like that are kind of new on this channel. And I've been getting into it a lot more. So the wife has been pretty supportive of me. ordering the shoes. And when I'm getting some free, I'm ordering others. And so it's strange because I'm running in like a different shoe every night, and that's hard for me because I'm like a creature of habit. Like I like things that work. That's why I stayed in the Wave Inspires for so long. For almost 10 years, I've stayed in the shoe. So it's hard for me to branch out into these other shoes. I feel like I'm cheating on my Wave Inspires, but no, they're good shoes. I mean, there's a lot of good shoes back there, and it's helping me kind of spread my wings, and it's helping me look at shoes and help other people who are looking at them, because I know it's tough, trying to find information. So I think I can, tell people kind of how I run. You can see how I run. You can see my body size, and you can and I can give you an honest opinion about the shoe. Because again, if I don't like a shoe, I'm not going to tell you that I like it. I'm going to tell you that it sucks if it sucks. So. Frank said, I don't figure out that I don't like a shoe until I have like 40 miles on them. Yeah, I've a lot of people are saying they put 50 on and you can tell. I can tell the first run. I can tell the first run. I mean, can I run more and maybe be like, well, if I can usually tell the first run. I usually run 5 to 6 miles in a shoe and maybe 10 the first time, and I can tell immediately if I'm not going to like the shoe. It's just me. But I do think to give a shoe a fair shake, I have to put at least 50 on them to be able to review them accurately for folks. So I do that. So I try to do an initial review of the shoe, and then just to kind of give you the tech, the stats, probably at one run. I usually will put one run on a shoe, and then I'll do like a 50 miler. And as you can see from the Wave Inspire, I did a 300 mile review, because that matters to me. How long did a shoe last? I mean, the shoe might last, to me, I think a shoe should last at least 250 to 350 miles. I think a shoe worth its weight should be able to do that. At least the daily trainers. Let's just say, let me put that out there. Daily trainers should be able to do that. Russell said at least 400 miles. Okay, the Bondi 5s, yes. And they haven't worn down too much. They're pretty durable. Yeah, they look like a durable. Sorry. There's a lot of exposed foam on these, so that's one of the things I worry about is there is a lot of exposed foam. So running on the street, I mean, there is some rubber on this outsole, but there's a lot of kind of exposed foam through here. So I wonder how that's going to hold up. I mean, back in the day, if I had saw that much exposed rubber, I wouldn't do it, because I just feel that it would get tore up. Because typically, I will take shoes and I will run on trails too. I won't always use a trail shoe, because I mix it up between trails, technical trails, fire roads and stuff like that, and I don't know. But yeah, those things would get tore up on a trail. I would never take those on a trail. Thomas Top said, I pronate and have flat feet. However, I've learned that it's okay. When I first started running almost 3 years ago now, at first I just had some generic running shoes that got fitted at Pacers, and they get cut off there. Yeah, I think a lot of people will just go buy off the shelf, and I've done a lot of videos where I've tried to tell people, like, the number one piece of gear you should have as a runner is a shoe. You need to put the money in that. You need to go to a real shoe store, get fitted, get the gait analysis and the foot strike analysis, and have someone who knows what they're doing, not just the high school kid that's there that got told what to do. You need to find somebody who knows what they're doing, especially if you're somebody who's just getting into it and you're a little older, and choosing the wrong shoe can actually cause damage. I mean, I picked the wrong shoe before and gave myself a major hip issue for like 3 weeks, and that was probably 14 years ago, because I chose the wrong shoe. I was running in a neutral shoe that was super, super mushy, the one I told you about. So, got to watch out for that. So find somebody who knows what they're doing. Welcome to the stream, Natalie Tom. Have you heard of any running shoes? What are your thoughts on the shoe subscription concept? I have not heard of those shoes. I'm not that familiar with them, no. And the concept of shoe subscriptions, The only way I would probably back a shoe subscription, and I don't know the exact model and what these folks are doing, is that I don't know. Like if you say I want stability shoes, but I just don't know. I don't know how that would work, because there's only so many companies that would make stability shoes that I would wear. I don't know if I would personally do that. It'd have to be a significant amount of savings. Like if I could work with Mizuno and Brooks and Hoka and some of the major brands that I like specifically with those brands, and if they said, hey, we will send you a new shoe every 3 months, or if one company will send you a shoe every 3 months and you get a significant discount, I would probably buy into a model like that. But I'll have to look into what you're talking about. I'm not that familiar with I've heard about them, but I just haven't looked into it because it was not something that really interested me right off hearing about it. And Thomas, I one of the things about pronating is I used to pronate, and I think it was because my legs were weaker back then when I first started running. But I've videoed myself running now, and I've seen a correction of that to myself being more efficient now. I'm not as efficient as I should be. I see enough of myself in videos where I'm like, where in the world did that form come from? But it has corrected. All the miles that I've put on and all the exercises I've done have actually, I think, helped my ankles and calves and the whole kinetic chain get stronger. So I don't pronate that much. I don't think I was a heavy pronator, but I don't really pronate as much as I thought I would still. It's weird. So I don't know. I think maybe if you get stronger over time and do a lot of exercise, I do a ton of calf raises and exercises and foam rolling and just strengthening my feet and calves. Kurt says, I agree with you 100%. People ask constantly in the weight loss surgery community what kind of shoes to get. I'll answer, but will say that my thoughts don't matter to their feet. I just go into the store. Yeah, that's one of the things I keep in mind when I review a shoe. And I do get asked, obviously, having this type of channel, I get asked all the time, what shoes do I like? Even in my personal life, friends know what I do, and they ask all the time. And I try to tell them the purpose of shoes. Like, this shoe is a stability shoe, and it would be good for people like this, but I don't know. And I'll tell them, it's like, I haven't seen you run. I don't know. I mean, if I were to be able to watch them for 5 or 6 minutes, just running around back and forth, I could probably tell what shoe they should be in. I'd feel bad about telling somebody to go into a neutral shoe if they were a heavy pronator or had flat feet or needed some sort of support, and I'd feel awful about that. So I try to put caveats on all that when I give people advice. So it is tough when people ask, like, what do I like? Well, again, my feet are not your feet. We run differently. So it is tough, but I do the best I can to do these reviews and give as much information for people to make choices on their own. I mean, if I watched a review and someone said this shoe is just awful, it rubs on the heel, it does all of these things, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to do that on my foot. So it is tough. You have to try things out. And that's why I think it's great when some of these shoe companies will allow returns and things like that. They'll allow you to run in them, or if you go to a shoe store, because it's hard. I mean, the one I go to in the shoe store, like, you go out front and allow you to run back and forth a little bit. And you kind of like, well, I kind of feel some heel slippage, and I felt heel slippage in the La Petite when I first put it on. It's a super stiff feeling shoe, and I had to lace it correctly to get it dialed in. And once I get all the shoe dialed in, it feels fine. So there's a lot of things, to take into account. Yeah, Frank said it's hard to get into the store these days. Yeah, it is super hard. And one of the things I did for many years, I mean, for as long as I've been running, is I would find a shoe. And if you guys didn't watch my last review, I just did the review on the Brooks Adrenaline 20, that limited edition, Happy limited edition. You'd think I'd be able to say it now as much as I've said it for the video. As I would go to the store and I would try on a shoe, and if it fit right and I knew that was my shoe, I'd go to Amazon and look it up there and get the discount, especially the year previous. So, like, you can go get the Brooks Adrenaline 19 super discounted. I mean, like $60 less, which is huge. And I would go buy 3 pairs if I knew that was my shoe, and I wouldn't have to worry about it. So that's kind of what I have to do now. That's why I was never a huge fan with shoes companies changing the shoe significantly. I know the Wave Inspire did that back in like the 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 days. There was some significant changes in the uppers and stuff like that. I was like, man, what are y'all doing? So that's what I do to save money. So if you know what shoe you can, I would, if you can afford it, is buy multiples of it. That kind of helps. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I'm getting all these. Rosser said there has for 2020, by the way, they haven't been released publicly yet. What shoes? So you have to clarify that for me. What shoes for 2020 they haven't released yet? Yeah, I know. I was talking to Mizuno. I know that they have shoes. They haven't announced when shoes are going to be released. They're all freaked out about the pandemic and releasing shoes right now. So I think it's probably thrown off some of the companies when they're normally going to release shoes. Okay, gotcha. Chris says, I'm the same. When I first started running several years ago, I used to pronate big time. Now I wear neutral and agree with leg strength over time. Yeah, that's why I think you need to kind of check over time, because that stuff does change. And I will run a neutral. I'm actually liking that I'm going back and forth between neutral and support shoes and things like that, just because it keeps my foot in a different shoe. It helps that my mind be able to deal with that. I don't like relying heavily on a shoe for support. I just don't want to do that anymore. So I think it's a good thing to be able to run. Strengthen your feet, strengthen your ankles. I do a lot of exercises to do that. Hey, look at that super chat. Thank you for the super chat, Shailene and Kurt Klein. I appreciate that for being on the next stream. Thank you. I appreciate that. The wife just went out and picked me up some beer, and I don't really drink a ton, but I do like my Vienna Lager. Not sponsored. Appreciate that. I want to see if it's going to land. It's going to drop the money in there? I'm just trying to see. I'm testing these little overlays they put on here. Hey D9, what's going on, man? Are you getting ready to do your stream? I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well. Like to see your channel doing well. Good job. You're killing the streams. I love it. Rosser said, how did you first get into making YouTube videos? Okay. So around the end of 2014, being in running, I started this channel. What was the core of this channel? And I had filmed probably a handful of running videos, and what I wanted to do, and I told parts of the story many times, that I wanted to kind of film those documentary style. I wanted to kind of film myself into ultra marathons and running ultra marathons and do it really in a documentary way, and use the channel as kind of the catalyst to do that stuff, to be able to get it to people and start vlogging. And after about a month and a half into 2015, I started seeing my daughter, my 5-year-old at that point, watching what I thought were family videos online. And you got to think, I had no idea what that was. So I was kind of taken aback, like, who's putting their family videos on the internet? Like, that's weird. Like, who are you watching? I was like, let me see the Kindle. Let me look at them. So I started watching this family, and it was just nothing but family videos. And the dad was super charismatic, cute kids, beautiful wife. And I'm like, man, and they're all funny. And it was the Shaytards. Excuse me. Sorry, my voice was going. And so I started looking at that and like, you know what, that looks like a lot of fun. And that's how I got into family vlogging. So this channel used to be called The Shenanigans, and it was a family channel. And I still have tons of videos out there. So for most of 2015, 16, 17, and 18, it was family vlogs and kind of mixing in with the content. The channel originally was supposed to be me and what I wanted to kind of do, things that were interesting to me. Again, if you go back at the beginning and watch this channel, back to the videos, you can see me awkwardly in a video saying, what is this channel about? And I talk about it wanting it to be about running, but my family was going to be included because I wanted them to be part of everything that I do. So that's kind of how I got, that's a long way of saying that's how I got into YouTube videos and making them. I'm a creative person. I used to be an actor. When I was younger, I did modeling and acting and things like that. And so I've always wanted to create and do things that are creative. I like helping people. I'm a senior leader in the organization I'm in. So motivation is a huge part of what I believe in, and helping people is just something I believe in. I'm huge into volunteering and just, I don't know. It's just who I am. So this is a great tool for me to be able to kind of put things I love, like running and helping people, and putting that all together. And so that's how I got into YouTube. Sorry if that was a long way of saying that. Thomas says, I think the go-to is to put someone who pronates into a corrective shoe. However, that may not be the answer, especially if you've been preparing your whole life and just have gotten into running. Sorry, there's nothing wrong with what you wrote. I don't have my glasses on, so it's hard for me to read. I should probably put them on, but then the glare off the thing. It's a whole thing. And again, thank you very much for the super chat, Kurt. I appreciate that. I missed did it do the zombie run on a treadmill and drop the thing in? I missed it. The delay's killing me. Goku Runner, what is up, man? How are you? Welcome to the stream. We're just talking about how I got started on YouTube and all kinds of things. So it's Q&A, it's random, answering questions. You guys can ask whatever you want. I was going to talk a little bit about how I got into running and have you guys kind of share your stories, because I find that really interesting how people got into running. So I was hoping everyone could share the stories, even though you have to do it in chat. It might be much easier if we could kind of like a Zoom communicate. So we'll see how it goes. So I'd love for you guys, for as much as you can, type it in how you got started. You don't have to write a whole book and I'll read it out. Kurt says, seeing you make these running videos and transitioning fully makes me want to start posting again. Been way too long. Yeah, there's a lot of people. Kurt and his wife were one of the families that were doing it back then. There's a lot of us that have friends that back in 2015, 16, when I first started, I was going to Playlist Live and I was 100% into family vlogging. I loved it. Was really I'm friends with a couple people that are part of the Trixon folks who are related to the people into the Shaytard. So it's like I was 100% that's what I wanted to do. And then kind of YouTube started really changing how they do things. And I don't have the really young babies and stuff like that. My wife and I are not 22 starting our family, and that's really where the folks who are really successful are there. So while I still want to record that, I do have the Shenanigans channel. I started another Shenanigans channel, and I did the baby announcement on there, and I still have lots of plans on putting the videos on that channel. So yes, it's really cool to still have people like Kurt and a lot of these folks here that have been here since the beginning. People are speeding up and down the road. Kurt said, you can tell you are passionate about this topic. It shows in your videos recently. Yeah, I am very passionate about this. I'm passionate about motivation and goal setting and just helping other people overcome that, because I know the struggles, because I've been there myself. So I really do find a lot of joy in helping other people. I genuinely do. So if you all don't notice, I comment back. I reply to every comment on this channel, every single one. There will be times where I'm spending hours replying to people. I do it on Strava. I do it on Twitter. I do it on this. I feel that if people give you their time and find value in what you create, and they spend the time to give you a comment or ask you a question that is respectful, at least I can do it now. At the size of this channel, I can still do it. I will not like the day that I can't do that anymore, but it's going to be a while before I won't do that. So I am super passionate about this. So I appreciate you noticing that. Frank says, Goku Runner, what is your mile goal? Oh yeah, working on that mile time. Goku Runner says to beat the last time, which is 7:08. No camera this time. Let's get. That's right. Yeah, it's there's days when I go out on a run that I will not take a camera just because I don't want the distraction. Especially when I go out in the trails, I'm like, I really just want to have a really good run and not deal with filming. Because if I take the camera, I'm going to stop. I'm going to film the stream. I'm going to film waterfalls. I'm going to film myself running up the hill and down the hill. And I can't help it. As a content creator, I'm going to be doing that. So there's days that if I just need to really get a good workout in and I'm going to deal with that, I'm not taking the camera. So yeah, I would advise don't bring the camera, or maybe sit it at the far end of the track or something and not even think about it and film it. That way it's in the background. Rosser says, share the story. My dad. Oh, I will share my story. I'm getting to it. I'm trying to get to these questions. They're getting backed up. Share the story. My dad. Your dad, that's why you got into running. That's good. I'm hoping that my kids will one day share that story and they'll say they got into running because of my dad, me, their dad. You know what I'm saying. Goku Runner says, how long does it take you to edit a video? It could take anywhere from half an hour to 5 hours or 6 hours. It's really dependent on how much editing I'm doing. Like when I do a shoe review, it's hard because I set my editing station. I have a tray with my laptop, and I sit in the living room with my family, and it's a lot of having to stop. Then I got to watch the baby, and it's a lot. But typically, it should take me anywhere from half an hour if I'm doing something like sitting in my car. So when you guys see me do the sitting in the car thing, and I'm just talking to the camera, that's just because I'm strapped for time. I have content that I want to do, and that's my easy way of getting the content out to you, because I've done polls on this channel where people are like, I don't care whether or not you guys didn't care whether or not I do a super edited, produced piece of content, or if I'm just sitting with my iPhone in the car. People don't seem to care. I don't really see any evidence that it matters in how the video does. I don't know. It's different with this age group and the crowd that follows here. I think they're a little more forgiving for that kind of stuff. And so there are times, like last night I did again, if you haven't seen it, I did the review on the Brooks Adrenaline 20. That took a long time. It probably took me a total of 5 hours to from start to finish to get it done. And that's with the breaks and the stopping in the middle. It can get frustrating at times. I mean, back in the day when I first started editing, like the family vlogs, I'd be up till 2 a.m. It was crazy, just because I was learning, and what I wanted to do was well beyond my skill level. Now my skill level's gotten a little bit better, so it doesn't take as long. Thomas Top said, adopted 2 Doberman puppies and walking them turned into running as they grew, while I was going through some lifestyle, especially dietary changes. That's pretty cool. That's new. I haven't heard that story before. Like someone getting a dog and that's how they got into it. That's interesting. Roster says, we love you partly because you do connect with everyone. Well, I appreciate that. I try to be as diverse as I can with everything that I do, and not turn anybody away. I love helping. You know what's funny? I still get probably just as many YouTube questions on my channel as I do running questions, because I've made so much YouTube help content and family vlogging content. I'm still answering questions about YouTube stuff every single day. I'm pretty knowledgeable about YouTube. I've been doing it a long time, and I actually was making a lot of YouTube help content, and so I like it. I mean, it's kind of cool that I still get to answer all the questions across the board. So, it's funny is I still get a ton of subscribers from people who see things like why the over 40 crowd is taking over YouTube, those type of videos that I've done, or how to start a family vlog. I'm still getting tons of questions about those and tons of subscribers from those people. They're probably like, I like this guy. I like how he talks about this stuff. And then all of a sudden now all they're getting is running content. So it's interesting for those of you who just started following this channel and subscribing when I did running content, if you're getting suggested to you my family content, like my family vlog content. It'd be interesting to know. I feel like I'm super overexposed right here. Maybe you guys, I don't know, it looks like I'm really overexposed. So I'll share my story. Now that we got kind of a little bit of a pause. So back, and I know those of you who have heard this before, I'm sorry, but back in growing up, I was a sprinter. I was a 3-sport athlete. I was very athletic, and I hated distance running. Distance running in my mind was anything over like a mile. That was like there was no reason to run a mile. Hated running, and when I went to college, I gained weight, and it's a little overexposed. Yeah, I don't know why. It's kind of weird. It's driving me crazy. Wait, you turn on this light over here. Is this what happens on the stream? It's going to be what it is. It is what it is. So, I went to college, gained weight, put on 20 pounds the first semester in college, went through college, pretty much just about 20, 30 pounds heavier than I was when I graduated high school, got a job in IT, and then put on probably another 20 pounds. Then I lost some weight when I got married at 25, and then by the time I'm 30, I was probably 50 pounds heavier than I was when I graduated high school, and I was 30 years old. I got tired of feeling like just overweight, out of shape, looking at myself in pictures, just kind of that swollen look, and I got tired of it. I got disturbed. I did the Tony Robbins Get the Edge program, and I've made videos about that on this channel, and I completed that program. And it was really about goal setting and things you want to achieve, and that was one of them. Degrees and goals with my job and promotions and salaries, and this losing weight was one of those. So what I did was I just started running, and I've told this before. I was in the garage. I was kind of embarrassed to go outside. I mean, it's not that I was huge, and I feel silly about it now, but I just was self-conscious to go outside and run, being out of shape, not being able to run for 5 minutes. Like, to me, in my mind back then, when you go run, you go run. You don't chug down a street. You don't walk. You definitely didn't walk in my mind back then. Again, that was my ignorance. I was not in the running community. I didn't think about that stuff. So I ran in the garage on the treadmill and lost weight, and then I got to the point where I could run a mile, then 2 miles, and 3 miles, and I started running 5Ks, just like a lot of people did, 10Ks, and I was then fast, so I started getting a lot faster. So not that I'm super fast, but I was at that point I was getting faster. I was running a 22-minute 5K, a 44-minute 10K, an hour 44 half marathon, and I was getting faster. And I got to the point where I started looking at the distances. I read Born to Run, and when I read Born to Run, I was like, holy crap, like there's people who run that like that. To me, in my mind, I was sold. Then I started running marathons, and then that kind of bridged me into the ultra marathons. Once that seed got planted, like there was never ever going to be a time that I was not going to run an ultra. Like my mind is kind of that OCD in numbers. That's why I run the distances that I do, is because I'm very attracted to setting goals and achieving them. And to me, whenever I know there's going to be a day that I can't get faster, so I could probably break my 5K and 10K goal, but I would probably hurt myself trying to do it at my age. I will probably get there anyways, just because of my fitness is getting better, but I haven't actively tried to break those. So me knowing that I would never continue to try to push to be faster in the shorter distances, I started to train to do farther. So I know I can always run farther. It doesn't matter if I'm 40, 50, or 60, I could always run farther. That's what attracted me to ultras. And I have a friend who's much faster than I am, but he would go out and he'll smoke me in an ultra, but then he's all tore up. And I used to say, you know what, I'm going to be happy saying I ran the JFK 20 times than I ran one time super fast. That's just how I work. And that's how I got into running. That's kind of my mindset behind running. I'm really attracted to the distance and achieving the next goal. So 100 miler is what I want to achieve. Western States is my bucket list. I want to run that race. So that's ultimately my goal. My ultimate goal is I'm going to run 100 within the next year. And that's where I am right now. Yeah, the overexposure is kind of bugging me right now. I don't know why that's so bright. But I don't want to be so dark that you guys can't see me. overexposed. So I'm trying to catch up here. The rename probably helped with that. Yeah, so when I went to motivation theory and I was still doing motivational content, I don't think without it having running in the name, I think that kind of was confusing to people. Like when you read the name motivation theory, you're like, I don't really know what that means. But when I put running on it, they're like, okay, it's about running. So I wanted to kind of niche down. And really the name motivation theory comes from Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the needs that humans need to be happy. And so that's where that comes from. What's going on? Welcome everybody who just joined the stream. Good to see you. Tech for your needs. David, Rowan, thank you for joining. Frank, Goku Runner's here. Rosu, Rawserve, 123. Who else we got in here? Shailene and Kurt Klein. David Rowan says, the great thing about ultramarathons is you can eat and run at the same time. Absolutely. Absolutely. I always tell people that ultras are eating contests with the running in the middle, and I do both very well. I can run a long time and I can eat a lot. So to be able to kind of have both those things together is amazing. And to be able to eat and run as much as you want, or run and eat as much as you want. There you go. I got it right. I run to eat. There we go. Thomas Top said, frankly, hated any running regardless of distance and suffered from asthma. Parents were smokers. Never would have imagined I'd be doing what I am today. Absolutely. I'm the same way. My parents then smoked too when I was growing up, and I hated smoking. Absolutely hated it. And then unfortunately, when I went to college, boredom and peer pressure got to me, and I started smoking for a while in college. And then my wife put an end to that when we started dating. She wouldn't date a smoker, so that was good. That was good. Shailene Kirkline said, like you're thinking, David. Goku Runner says, I put a white trash bag over the light. That's the hack. Well, I have a diffuser on this. I mean, I have it on the low setting. I don't know. And this is normally the light. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Let me see. Just hang. Technical difficulties. I think this one has a bulb out. It's a light that I can light up half. And there's there's like 2 bulbs on one side and 2 on the other. And I think one is out on one side. And I usually have this side, which I think only has 1 bulb. I don't know. Sorry, guys. So it was funny. Did you guys see the long run video where I was filming and I had the light on in the back, and I prepped everything, turned the light off just so it didn't die. And then by the time I started shooting, I forgot to turn it back on. Then I noticed halfway through the video. It made me so mad. Yeah, I'm diffusing it already, so if I put another trash bag over it, it'd be crazy. Tech for your needs says, do you have the window shade open? No, I don't. It's still light out, which is weird because sometimes it's dark down here when we do these. No, I have that light on the back. I think I just had this light on a little bit higher than I normally do. It's on, one of the bulbs is out. This is a live stream, right? So it doesn't matter. You guys are willing to hang with me through this. That's what it is. Yeah, I usually have it on this setting, which only has 1 bulb, because the other one was taken out. The other side has 2 bulbs. There, we figured it out. Thanks, everyone. We did it. We cracked the case. Goku Runner says, race director for an ultra told me guys like me can't finish a 100-mile. It's all for the smaller guys. Who would actually do that? Who would actually say that? Because I've been to ultras and seen all body types running ultras. And it's amazing. I love that. That's what I like about marathons and running in general. Are there people that are elitist and snobs? Yes, there are. I have a friend that is a friend of somebody I grew up with, who evidently was pretty fast. And so when I would talk about ultras, he has never run an ultra, mind you. He's never run one. But he frowns upon basically everyone who's a mid-packer to the back of the pack. Like, he just doesn't think that's running. If you walk, that's not an ultra. And I tried to explain to him, I was like, you have to walk in ultras. Like, unless you're Walmsley or one of these elites, like, you're gonna walk. And maybe in JFK 50 they don't walk, but tell me how you're going to run 100 miles with 35,000 feet of elevation change and not walk. Like, I just don't get the snobbery. So he would kind of poo-poo like, well, you walk, so it's like it's not legitimate. I'm like, okay, well, let me see you for 24 hours. Let me see what you can do. Just keep moving 24 hours and see how your pace starts to slow. It's crazy. And I can't imagine somebody would kind of big guy shame. Big guys out there. Big guys can do. I mean, look at Goggins. Goggins was huge when he first started. And now he's like, what 90, 190, a solid muscle. Tech for Your Needs says, what made you stop vlogging with your family? It just became a lot. It became a lot to do. And so, you might have missed it. I told the story about family vlogging. It just became a lot. It really did. As the kids started getting older and everyone's doing sports and activities in all different directions, it just became a lot with homework and just, it's a lot to manage. We were all busy. My wife started working and there was a lot going on. She's not working now because we had the baby, but it's a lot. I mean, family vlogging is not easy. Vlogging in general is not easy. People make it look easy, but it's not. I mean, what I do on this channel, I told you guys all the time, this eats up a lot of time. And I didn't eat it up because I love doing it. But I spend as much time on this channel as I do at a full-time job, whether or not it's research, editing, filming, planning, writing scripts, getting everything organized. I mean, planning content out. This isn't just on a whim. I mean, I treat this like a business, and I treat it like I want to give value to people. So it's just a lot of time. And when it comes down to family stuff, I choose family first. And, if it's hard on them, I'm not going to do it. So I did, that's why I kind of pulled out of that stuff and just concentrate on me, because it's a lot easier to control myself than 5 other people. Thomas Top said, it's light out like 8:30ish now here in Nova. It's 5:52 right now where I am in Virginia, so still light out. Kurt says, when doing steeper downhill speed goat 4s, they have been rubbing in your toes. I don't have any problem in the speed goats. Those shoes were awesome on my feet. I haven't had any issues with them rubbing in any way. Again, I think that you and I were texting earlier on a comment, I think, or was it Instagram, something, just talking about the different feet shape, and you probably done this, but I would adjust the lacing as best you can to see if that will help. Typically, if my feet are crashing into the end of a shoe, because I've had that happen, it's because I don't have the shoe laced correctly and I'm not locked in where I should be. So I would definitely look at that, and you probably have. I mean, you know what to do, but I would probably look at that, but I don't have that problem in that Speedgo 4. Frank said, Walmsley and Killian stop at the stations the same as everyone else. Exactly. I saw a comment. I made a comment on, I think you probably all seen, what's the guy that does the podcast that's huge on, anyways, where he was bringing in ultramarathoners, and someone just said, can we just get through the BS that a large part of these ultramarathons are being walked and that they're not running the whole time? And I couldn't hold my tongue. I was like, okay, I'd like to see you for 12 hours or 24 hours or 36 hours maintain between a 7-minute mile and a 13 or 14-minute mile. I'd just like to see you do that. And no one has ever claimed that people run. So that's what I don't understand. Is people think, they'll ask you, do you run the whole time? Like, I don't understand. Like, no one's ever said ultramarathons, you just run the whole time nonstop. Like, I don't understand why someone could look at you and go, oh, you ran 50 miles. Oh, but you walked some? Yeah. That's not very good. Like, who would do? I just don't understand that thinking, because to me, someone saying they made it 31 miles or 50 miles or 100 miles, to me, it doesn't matter how they got there. It's crazy. Goku Runner asks, what non-running YouTube channels do you follow? Put me on the spot. I'm trying to think. Most of the channels that I follow are related to filming and editing and streaming now. And I don't remember all their names because, you know, I mean, I follow Nick Nimmin, D. Nimmin, Roberto Blake, kind of the folks that are around the kind of YouTube guru people. Just to, you know, it's the business side of YouTube, so it's about managing my channel. So that's probably where I consume most of my stuff. But I'm either watching something that's teaching me how to do something to be better at my craft here on YouTube, to better the channel, better just how to run it, how to edit better. You know, I'm learning Premiere Pro better, but also just honing my craft. So pretty much I'm either watching a documentary on running or I'm watching a video that's showing me how to do something. I'll probably have to have that be a topic for this, because I want to go back and I actually do want to show you guys, because I do watch some very interesting channels that I'd like to share with all of you. Some of you may not even care, but that's a good question. Good question. I need to do a video about that. David Run says 2254 in Scotland. So that's what, 10:52? Yeah. Tech Rooney means Nova Scotia, right? Tech Rooney also says loss or tight clothes for running. Loose or tight clothes for running, not sure. I can't wear loose clothing. Well, that's weird. It depends on what you say is loose. Like, I don't wear a ton of really super tight. Like, I don't wear like a singlet like Killian does when he's out running ultras, but I do wear, I mean, like, this shirt's fine. The problem is, it just depends on the distance you're running. So if you're running an ultra, anything that rubs you repeatedly, and if it does it for 10, 12, 14, 16, 20 hours, you're going to pay for. So while it may be comfortable when you're standing there, if it rubs and repeatedly rubs you in any way, it's going to rub and bleed. So that's why you have to lube all your pieces and parts that touch, or you're going to pay for it. And you usually find out when you shower all the parts you missed. So I would say typically I would wear an underlayer of like underwear that are tight, that keep everything where it needs to be, and then maybe wear shorts that cover a little bit more, because I know a lot of people are self-conscious. So you wear the tights underneath the shorts, and then wear a shirt that is breathable. Not so tight where it's uncomfortable, but not loose where it's flapping and filling with sweat and just sloshing around. So did I answer your question? I don't know. Typically, like when you're heavier and you're starting running, wearing super tight stuff doesn't feel comfortable. Believe me, when I first started losing weight again, it was not comfortable for me to wear tight clothes. It made me self-conscious. Thomas Top said, ready to light up the fire pit so hard that anything over 26.22 is considered an ultra. So when I did 27.3 a month ago, does that make it an ultra regardless within the next month? So the biggest fights I've ever seen between runners are typically between the legalization of drugs is one of them, which is usually a line that people fall on. But it was the issue with the distance on running. People would lose their mind. So there are people that are elitists, that are ultra runners, that would say if you run 31.1 miles, it's a 50K, that's not really an ultra in their mind. They're like, the first legitimate distance in an ultra is 50 miles. I don't know why people say that, because they're saying, well, 26.2 is not that far away from 31. And I'm like, well, I think people just troll people. People will complain about anything. I think running 26.2 miles is hard. It doesn't matter. And just because I've run, mini ultras, I don't look down on any distances below, because when you run 5Ks hard, they hurt. When you run 10Ks hard, they hurt. When you run a half a marathon hard, it hurts. So does the marathon. Can I run 26.2 and not make it hurt? Yeah, but I'm going to slow down. But I can also make it hurt. So I don't know. Technically, the definition is anything above a 26.2 by definition is an ultramarathon. But then there'll be a caveat that says typically the first distance that people do is 31 miles or 50K. So I will dub you ultramarathoner. Looking at doing a 50K, you should do it. It's not as hard as it is. That's why I started my channel. I want to kind of demystify the ultra. People look at it as like this huge mountain that you can't overcome. It is doable. If you can do a half marathon or marathon, you can do a 50K. You just slow down. You have to run more. Put some back-to-back long runs together. You can do it. It's I don't want to say it's not that hard, because it's like me saying it's easy. It's not easy, but it's not this thing that people think is so unattainable. It's really not. Kurt says, out of here for a killer date night at Costco. Have a good night. Hey, thank you. First, thank you for the super chat, Kurt, and have a good date night at Costco. My wife and I are looking forward to any kind of date night at anywhere, at any point now. So we're looking forward to that. So enjoy. Be safe out there. Thomas Top said, do you use competition? You mean compression sleeves? Competition sleeves? No, I don't use any kind of compression sleeves. What I do, before I do that, pro tip here. I don't wear that kind of stuff. The only thing I ever wear on my arms are cut off socks. And so when I go to the Marine Corps Marathon, it's typically super cold, and I don't want to. And people will take all that stuff off and throw it into the center of the road when they get to the Marine Corps Marathon, and then they pick that stuff up and then they donate it. I don't want to throw a bunch of stuff away every year that I go up there, because it does, even when it gets 60 degrees during a marathon, that feels hot. So I cut the ends off socks, big tube socks, and I pull them on my arms, both sides, and it helps keep me warm. I will cut an old shirt, like, if this shirt was 15 years old and it's from a race that I don't care about anymore, I'll cut the sleeve off right here, and I'll use that as a bandana to pull over my ears. And basically everything that I put on like that will be disposable, and then I'll take that and throw it off. So to answer your question, no, I don't wear compression sleeves or anything like that. Not that I wouldn't. I'm actually kind of looking to maybe getting in some for my calves. I haven't tried them before, but I will probably be doing them and doing a review. So you'll find out how I like them. Thomas Tops said, Frank, no, nothing in particular. Typically I do my runs or challenges on my own. Big Flat. When I ran my first marathon, up an extra 100 meters, maybe. Yeah, if you don't run the tangents, Big Flat, don't run the tangents. Run the farthest distance you can in a marathon. So, the tangents is the shortest points that you can hit on the corners, and you'll be an ultramarathoner. And just tell them that John said so. Thomas Top said, quite honestly, I think running your first 5K without stopping between is the biggest accomplishment, especially if you're starting off later at the point. Yeah, and I think, that's the snobbery that I don't like. Like, to me, when someone, and I hate when people come to me, and this is something, it's a pet peeve, I'm not mad at them, but I don't like when people degrade themselves. When they know the distances that they're running, they go, well, I've only run 5Ks, or I only run 10Ks. I don't see myself as an elitist for running. Like, I don't think I'm better than someone that runs 5K. I tell people all the time, because I run more miles in a week or something like that, it doesn't make me more healthy. I think someone can be healthy running 3 or 4 times a week, 3 miles at a piece, and doing 5Ks. I think it's just as healthy. And I don't expect people to all become ultra runners who don't want to be, but I think, like, when I ran my first 5K without stopping, I remember just being amazed. It was the same with the 10K when I ran my first half marathon. I'm just as proud of those distances and those races as I am running my first 50 miler or running 60 mile or 100K. Like, I am just as proud, because at those points, at that point, that was everything to me. At that point, I had trained for that race. So, when I set a goal and I achieve it, I'm happy and I'm proud of myself. So anybody running any distances should be happy at the distances they're running. Tech Freedy says, dinner time. Just keep it rocking. Thank you for checking in. I appreciate it, man. Hope you're having something good tonight. Thomas Tom said, "Oh, too funny." Are you laughing about me taking and throwing my stuff off? Is that it? Frank said, if you specialize in 50Ks and run them regularly, you are an ultramarathoner. If you do just one, you are a distance runner. I guess that's one way of doing it. I don't think I put too much stock in the titles. I just have never cared that much. I think anybody who runs now, I think, yeah, if you run one and then you never run one again and you ran it 10 years ago, should you still continue to call yourself an ultra runner? No, probably not. You probably shouldn't do that just because you're not doing it anymore. But you could say I once was an ultra runner, or I once, I don't know. I just don't worry about it that much. I'm proud of anybody doing anything to get out there and run. Big Flat said, LOL, 52 now, aiming to do under 60 years. Long play. Any advice? Cross training can do 20 miles on a treadmill. Well, if you can do 20 miles on a treadmill, you can do a 50K. So just keep up the good work. Cross training, I do HIIT workouts. So I'm just starting to do those. And the funny thing is I ran 50K on the treadmill and wasn't sore at all. I did 2 HIIT workouts and I felt like somebody beat me in the legs. It was crazy how sore I got. And that's actually why I've missed 2 days running this week, is I got so sore from the working out. So yeah, so I would look up HIIT workouts for runners and stuff like that and incorporate that. And I think anyone, especially if you're over 35, you should be incorporating cross training and strength training in your program. Big Flat said, understand, definitely 4 hours. Josh Payne said, coming in late, sorry about that. Love the discussion. Hey, well, welcome to the. No, it's all good. I'll be wrapping it up soon, but I'm gonna stay on here for a little bit. I'm trying to finish this adult beverage. Frank said, being an ultra marathoner just tells people what you are specialized in. Yeah. I use the term distance runner quite often. A lot of the terms you see me use in titles and stuff like that are for search purposes. So people don't typically search on distance running as a topic. They usually search on how to run an ultra marathon or things like that. And that's why I focus a lot around ultra runner, ultra marathon. That's why the titles are the way that they are. But typically I'll just say just a distance runner is the most generic thing. That under 4 hours. Oh, you run 20 miles under 4 hours. Good, especially on a treadmill. You can run 20 miles on a treadmill. You're tough. You're tough in the brain. Goku Runner says, are you participating in a virtual run? I have participated in one virtual run right now. The 50K that I did on the treadmill was part of the Athletic Equation company, the ones who put on the ATR, the 24-hour races in Northern Virginia and stuff like that. They've been kind of putting those on weekly. So I threw my ticket in there, and so I'll get a shirt, and I got the what do they call it, hamster wheel award for the 50K on the treadmill. Big Flat said, any info on doing slow running? Absolutely, that's what I do. I do slow running. No, so I think 65% of your weekly runs should be easy runs. So whether you call them slow or not is relative depending on your speed. I think most of your daily miles should be easy runs. And then you can mix in more tempo runs and fartleks and things like that. You want to mix in the speed runs and things that are more around getting faster and training for particular races. But I run mostly easy runs. Recently, I've been doing kind of the progressive runs where I've been, if I run like a 10-minute mile first mile, 9-minute mile second, 8 third, progressive runs, tempo runs. Joshua Payne said, any updates on the new shoe reviews coming out? So I got the Mizuno sent me the Wave Horizon 4s at the top of the pyramid. I got the new Mizuno Wave Inspire 16 what are they called? Hold on a second. Here we go. So they got the Wave Knit. Mizuno sent me these for the purpose of review. The Wave Inspire, I love Wave Inspire. They've been my series for most of my running career, but I have never run in the Wave Knit. I usually run in the engineered mesh. The Wave Horizon 4, I have done a first run in. I still have to do an initial review on that. I really do like this shoe right now. The Bondi 6, the Hoka Bondi 6. My daughter and my wife are running in these right now, and I will be incorporating them in the review for those. I just did the review for the Brooks Adrenaline 20 compared to the Brooks Adrenaline 19. I'm still going to have to do the 50-mile Hoka Speed Goat review, the 50-mile La Petite, Indo La Petite review, and of course, all the rest of the shoes that are coming. Yeah, I have a lot, and it's it's a lot of planning. Doing reviews is busy. It keeps me busy. But it was nice. Mizuno sent me shoes because they know that I'm a huge Mizuno supporter, and I love, while I don't love all the shoes, I will be honest in the critique of the shoes. They haven't asked me to say anything. They've not told me to do anything with my reviews. So they gave them to me out of the kindness because I'm a reviewer and a big fan, and they like what I do. So I appreciate that. Did I answer your question? David Rowan says, I use resistance band training to do my strength. Yeah, anything you do with the core that strengthen your quads, your glutes, your abdomen, all of that, your shoulders, everything needs to be, the older you get, the more you need to concentrate on strength training when it comes to that kind of stuff. Big Flat said, no, sorry, I've had a few beers. I went to run under 4-hour marathon 160. Okay. Well, what is that? 9-minute miles? So you just got to run 850s for the whole time? You can do it. I see people out there just killing it in the marathons. Frank said 65% seems low. Yeah, I throw that out there because I think that's kind of the general suggestion. I think, elites will probably have a tendency to probably be closer to that number. I think the casual runner that is just running races should probably have a higher number, probably 75%, maybe an 80% of their runs being easy runs. Because it just depends on what your goals are. It really does. If you're not out there trying to hit PRs in every race you do, I got to the point when I was running ultras that I was literally just wanting to run ultras just to finish them. I wasn't trying to break certain times and stuff. I would go out. I love the atmosphere. I love training for it. I love running. So to pay myself, to kind of reward myself for the training, I would just sign up for a race and go do it. Like, I didn't care too much about the time, because who cares? I mean, I don't care what people's times are. I mean, I'm impressed by the elites times like that. But like, if you told me that you ran a 50 miler in 11 hours, I'm like, I don't even think about the time. I think, awesome, you did a 50 miler. Good for you. Like, I don't think about the time. So it doesn't matter to me. But I do have some specific goals I want to do for JFK, that I want to break 10 hours for JFK. There are some things I want to have for me that I want to do. Big Flat said, can I do easy run then a hit when you say slow? How do you feel after the run? When I say easy, you should be able to do your run and hold a conversation. So I don't know your heart rate. I don't know your heart rate zones or anything, age and all that stuff like that. But you should be able to hold a conversation during your runs, and that will tell you whether or not it was an easy run or not. Thomas Top said, last year when I was focused on speed and did pretty good bringing my 5K down to 21 minutes, but it affected my distance. So this year I've been slow and steady, just building my base. Great improvement. Yeah, I think the funny thing is you can start working on a lot more endurance stuff, and it will, like if you watched my video about the long run, you can drop your 5K just by building more endurance. And I started noticing as I got older, the more I trained for speed, the more I became prone to injury, which I don't like. I like running. I don't care. Like, if I had to give up not breaking 20 minutes in the 5K and not get hurt, like, I'm just going to choose not to get hurt. I don't care that much about it. Because there's very few people that are going to care if I told you, like, oh, yeah, I ran a 1950 at 44. Most people aren't even going to know or care. Frank said 80-20. Yeah, that's a good number. That's a good number. I don't disagree with that. David Rowan said, I run for the love of it, not really interested in times. Yeah, and again, there's a lot of people that are like that. I used to see guys that were some of the local races. I loved watching them because they would run the race. They would finish. They'd put the medal on their head. They would take the medal off, and they'd walk to the car. They'd find a little kid, and they'd give the medal to the little kid and get in their car and leave. I'd said the same guys do that all the time. I just find it amazing. I'm not giving away my medal. Not that I hold it up to be like, it's a super important thing, but I like my medals hanging up there. I wouldn't give it away, but I just found they just did it because they loved doing it. They didn't care about the medal. And they weren't elites either. They weren't people that were winning it. They were people that were coming in same time as me or after me. Big Flat said, LOL, I am starting to just enjoy exercise. It's great fun. Yeah, I think just, being active, exercising, running, just in general is good for everybody. And that's one of the things I want to do. I want to help inspire and help people through just getting through just being active. Not even so much running ultra marathons, I think, just getting active and moving. Charles says, so my girlfriend sees McDonald's, or she literally, I don't even know what that means. My resting heart rate is 44. What are the implication records? I don't know. I mean, that's a really good resting heart rate. I mean, that's the heart rate of an elite runner. I mean, mine's probably 48, my resting heart rate. I've always had a pretty low resting heart rate, so. Breaking 4 hours is a good goal. That's a goal that most people go for. I would just find a good training plan that, I don't know what your current fitness is, but a good couch to ultramarathon or to marathon, and just find one that will help get you there safely and healthy. So I would work on that. I don't know when the time limit is you're giving yourself. He said 60, so that looks like maybe a couple years, several years. So just get training, get running, and then take it slowly. Build up your mileage slowly. So, and I think you can probably do it. All right, everybody. It looks like I've gone over 17 minutes. I am going to head off. I'm going to go upstairs and relieve the wife. I know that she's probably done with the pictures now. I thank you all so much for coming and hanging out with me. The next stream will be Tuesday, 5 p.m., so same time, 5 p.m. So we've been having them at 5 p.m. on Tuesdays and Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. I thank you all very much for coming out here and hanging out with me. Great discussion. This is awesome. I love being able to interact with all of you. If you're not on Strava and you're a runner and you are on Strava, go join the Motivation Theory Run Club. You can just join. There's no approval. Just join it, and you can join in with everybody else. Make sure you hit that like button before you leave. That will help the video. Have a food. John enjoyed it. Have a good one. Okay, I was going to say food. I'm going to have some food, definitely. Thank you all very much. Goku Runner, Frank, David, Big Flat. Who else is still in here? There's probably some of you still in here. I thank you all for hanging out. Appreciate it. All of you stay safe. Stay moving. And look forward to getting on the other side of all this pandemic stuff so we can start getting the races and start talking about races and how races went. And not just training. As much as I love training, I'd love to start talking about some races. So I appreciate all of you hanging out. Next Tuesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And remember to hit that like button. Hit that like button on the way out. Again, that helps the video do better and helps YouTube know that you all like the video. So be safe, stay healthy, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, guys and gals.